Okay, let's move on to the Washington Redskins. Redskins and Giants win totals should be at 6, but at my book, they have the Redskins win total at 5.5, heavily juiced to the over, and the Giants win total at 6.5, heavily juiced to the under. Let's talk about this Redskins team. Wins 5.5, over minus 160, division plus 900, conference plus 4,000, Super Bowl plus 8,000, 80-1. Case Keenum comes in. Dwayne Haskins is being drafted as an understudy. How are they going to handle that? That is a tricky situation. Darius Geis could be a beast if he's healthy. If he's healthy, he's going to be much, much better than Adrian Peterson, and I hope we get to watch Geis. Josh Doxson needs to step up at wide receiver. Jordan Reed and old Vernon Davis at tight end. The defense could be better. Ryan Kerrigan at linebacker. Jonathan Allen getting to the quarterback. Josh Norman at cornerback. But question marks, red flags, issues with this Redskins team. Donnie Rightside, how do you see the Washington Redskins this year?
No, I think you summed it up pretty well there, Jimmy, to start it off, because when you look at the Washington Redskins, there's a lot to like individual talent-wise, but when you mold it all together, it doesn't really look forward to us that they're going to have a lot of wins at this point. Now, the reason being is here, I think, from a head coaching perspective, you got what you think, at least your organization thinks, is going to be the future of your team at quarterback here. How quickly he hits the field, that's going to be interesting. But I actually think they have a built-in trapdoor hatch when we're looking overall that nobody's going to get really too mad, because when you look at the opening season, I don't care if you have Dwayne Haskins in or if you have Case Keenum. You're going to Philadelphia. You're going to play Dallas. Then you get the Chicago Bears. Then you go on the road to the Giants division. And then you have New England. To me, that sets up as an 0-5 perfect shot, Game 6, to finally get Dwayne Haskins in there. Case Keenum's not going to lead you to a victory on the road, even though how bad the Giants are. Case Keenum's not going to go on the road and beat the Philadelphia Eagles. They're not going to beat the Dallas Cowboys, even though they are at home Game 2. I think it's a perfect scenario to look forward to. So when you're betting teams and betting team totals, the hardest ones to gauge are what I like to call the bridge teams, that they have a quarterback in place who they don't want anywhere near being the future of the team because Dwayne Haskins in it. But would you want to go out and say, hey, Dwayne, why don't you go out the first 5 weeks and get your brains beat in and damage you? Or you take all the pressure off and say, hey, Dwayne Haskins, get out there, buddy. We're 0-5. It can't get any worse. Just go out. You'll make some mistakes. We'll see if we can win, and we'll focus on next year. I want no piece of the team total for the Redskins. If they had Alex Smith, who's the king of dink and dunk, they probably would end up with another 8-8 football team, or maybe even 9 wins, because he'd be able to manage the game. This team doesn't have a starting quarterback and will bring in a rookie quarterback. I want nothing to do with the Washington Redskins here, Jimmy.
I want nothing to do with them either. Whale Capper, one of my favorite plays of your season last season was after Adrian Peterson had that giant 200-yard game. You were heavy on him having an under in the next game, and he rushed for about 12 yards in that next game. How do you see these Washington Redskins?
I think, what Donnie laid out as far as a strategy for how they should approach their season makes sense. It's sound strategy. The problem is you're dealing with an owner who's not sane, who's not patient. He's not an effective leader of men. And so even though they wildly overachieved last year in the face of some horrific injuries, there's still smoke under Jay Gruden's seat. There's still rumors that he might be the first coach fired. There's still kind of a general, he's not the right guy for this job, which is a problem for Jay Gruden, because now he's got to figure out how to break in a new quarterback and save his job. That's not easy. In a division that is stacked at the top, with a schedule that is extremely unfavorable out of the gate. And so all of this really plays to, okay, well, Jay Gruden, he's spending most of his time probably in this preseason figuring out what he's going to do to save his job, as opposed to, thinking about like, okay, well, this is how we're going to, maximize our potential to get wins for not just this season, but for future seasons. So I think, there is some incentive on Jay Gruden throwing Haskins out there to the Wolves out of the get-go, because they're going to lose those games anyway, and they can point to it and be like, well, what did you expect? We're starting our rookie quarterback. And Jay Gruden can be like, well, I didn't draft this guy, if it really goes poorly, and his best chance for saving his job is to look bad early, to be able to shed the blame on the fact that it's a young team with that's breaking in some new pieces, and then over the course of the season try to build some momentum into the off season and say, hey, look, we're really doing a good job developing Haskins, kind of like the Jets did last year with Sam Darnold, like some kind of scenario like last year's Jets. feels like the right play for the Redskins this year. And I wouldn't at all be surprised though if there's a complete change on the roster, just because Daniel Snyder is not necessarily a patient man. So I'm not interested at all in betting on the Redskins to make their win total. I'm not sure I understand at all why it's gotten some steam to the over. I'm not sure. People are looking at their people who are forgetting that their record last year probably should have been about 5-6 wins. They won a bunch of games they shouldn't have won. And the guys are getting back from injury are fine players, but they're not game changers. They lost some pieces in the passing game that I think are problematic. They have holes in the secondary that are problematic. This is a bottom tier NFL roster, in my opinion. Combine that with a first ever starting quarterback likely, and a coach who's on the hot seat, and this spells trouble in Washington if I'm handicapping them.
I agree. There's red flags, giant red flags everywhere.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now, we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.